Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Deeper space exploration missions have come with their own set of challenges. Not only are instruments farther away, which make the delay in reacting to certain things difficult, but tricky terrain on the Martian surface has made wheeled travel less ideal as well. And that has researchers turning to Boston Dynamics' dog-like robot. You may remember that one from a lot of viral videos, Spot, as it's called, for potential solutions. For more on that partnership, happy to welcome in our next guest here, Ali Agha, who has a plethora of titles here, but I'm just going to go ahead and call him Group Leader and Roboticist at NASA JPL. And Ali, I mean, really what you're kind of focusing in on here in the project you lead is kind of the autonomy around some of these robots to maybe try and figure out some of the things on their own to make the missions easier. But talk to me about how Spot and that side of robotics helps.
Exactly. We here work on autonomy and artificial intelligence for robotic platforms. In some sense, you can think of our work is focused on building brains for robots. And typically, these brains are agnostic to a specific robotic platform. We integrate these with wheeled rovers, with legged platforms, as the one you can see from Boston Dynamics, even with drones and flying robots, with applications for terrestrial setting, search and rescue, mining, and so on, as well as our main goal, which is space exploration. And among these different locomotion capabilities and different mobility systems, legged robots are one of the most promising ones because specifically for NASA, targeting exploration of Mars surface, moon surface, we don't have roads there. It's all rugged terrain, off-road setting, and even on Earth, when you have no road conditions, you typically have animals with legs, right? So legs offer much more capable locomotion ability to go over rocks and different extreme environments. And that's why we are very excited to integrate our autonomy solutions with these legged platforms to enable new kinds of missions.
I assume, too, that the costs maybe become a little bit more complicated here when you're thinking about Spot off the shelf. I think, it's like $75,000 for one of those things. And then you add on what you guys are working on. So how much more does it kind of come out to when you retrofit or kind of add the capabilities that you need to kind of help in these missions?
Yeah. First of all, cost is coming down very rapidly. These technologies are just at these are the first steps in bringing these technologies to everyday life, to different types of missions. So the cost is rapidly going down, and we are hoping that the legged platforms are going to get cheaper and cheaper. But you're right. At the moment, a base platform would cost something like around $70K or so, and adding AI and autonomy and the sensing payload on top of it kind of doubles the price, roughly speaking. And that's for terrestrial applications. Once there's really a mission to send these to Mars or Moon, there's all plethora of new challenges to be resolved, such as making sure thermally or radiation-wise you make these robots Mars-ready or Moon-ready, which would be a totally different scale of cost and need there.
I mean, all the time, these videos go viral for kind of, I guess, stoking fears in what the autonomous robot future might look like. So there are people out there who might be watching, who might be afraid of the idea of adding autonomy to that Spot dog. But in the tests that you guys have been running so far, I mean, what have you learned about how it can help and how maybe some of those fears are overblown, but also the timeline to actually get these things up there, the next mission, what's it all look like?
Yeah, there's always that perception that what will happen with AI growing and being more and more capable. But I think something typically being missed is it's not growing in isolation. As it grows and getting more capable, humans are getting capable as well. It's kind of part of us. It's part of the system we're building, and in that sense, I think we see similar to many other technologies in the last century and decades, the benefits typically are much higher. And you might remember the event a few years ago, the Thailand boys got stuck in cave, right? If there was technologies that autonomously, we send robots, they exactly pinpoint, this is the location, this is what capability it needed, or, how, rescue people can get to the exact point to save these boys. The mission could have been much faster, we save more lives and so on. And similarly, in mining, disasters, after natural disasters, in oil and gas industry, there's a lot of application domains that these systems can make very positive impact on everyday human life. And when it comes to your second part of your question on NASA missions, of course, there's a long road ahead. I mean, the steps we are taking here are initial steps to demonstrate that when we go to extreme environments such as caves, such as places on Mars that are really interesting science-wise, the system is able to actually autonomously get to those points without us having prior information about the environment. But when it comes to time to really create a mission around these, there are other considerations such as entry, descent, landing. Can we land these sorts of platforms nearby those caves or destinations of interest? How do we handle radiation in places like Moon or Mars where there's no thick atmosphere to protect from that? And similarly, how do we handle thermal variation? There's like extreme temperatures and hot side and cold side. And those are kind of things that down the road, after the proof of concept is finalized, need to be studied before a mission with a legged robot to Mars become a reality.
Yeah, you say humanity's progressing as well. I don't know, it might just be the smart people in your lab. You might be overestimating how much humanity outside of the lab has progressed here. But when you look at Elon Musk and what he's doing at Tesla, also similarly last month introduced their own kind of concept idea of a Tesla bot, an autonomous robot as well, which is interesting because he's been pretty outspoken about some of those fears of a Terminator-like future as well. So I guess he's changed his mind on that. But when you look at the progress on autonomy, what you guys are working on to have these robots do things that, to your point, would benefit humanity, I mean, how far off is that technology from maybe the consumer space where you could go out and buy one of these on your own?
Yeah, I think first on Elon Musk, I would say it's what they are doing in SpaceX. It's amazing in the sense that the increase in the frequency of launches from private sector, SpaceX, Blue Origin, all other companies, is gonna basically expedite by far, the amount of technologies and opportunities that's gonna be there, to colonize, other planets. And that's an amazing, push there, and is very, very helpful for developing these sorts of technologies and expediting there. And when it comes to, benefits to humanity, I think it is, in my opinion, the next era is robotic and AI era, and where we basically AI comes to physical system and embodied and tries to help people. We can see already impact on education, right? You can see all sorts of different robots that kids can use to learn coding, to help with their education. We can see slowly the entrance of robots to healthcare. We can see a direct impact in the COVID era. Basically, we saw the direct impact how robots can sometimes isolate and reduce the risk between the patient, doctor in hospitals, and search and rescue is definitely another very big application domain where after natural disasters there's a clear need that send these robots to save lives or make the operations way more efficient for rescue personnel.
And we've been seeing a growing number of those natural disasters here that we might need more robots out there than we're expected to help on the front. But Ali Agha, group leader and roboticist at NASA JPL, appreciate you coming on here to explain it all for us, man. Have a great weekend. Exciting to see all the progress there.